Let's talk about it with our panelists now. Ken Timmerman joins us, senior fellow at the America First Policy Institute, author of the Iran House, Tales of Revolution, Prosecution, and War and Intrigue. Perry's here, former AP regional chief for the Middle East and Europe, as well as publisher of Ask Questions Later, Substack.
Dan, your thoughts on those comments there from the ladies on The View who have been very outspoken about President Trump?
Well, there is tremendous euphoria in Israel to return the hostages, to be sure, but also some trepidation about what lies ahead. For one thing, Hamas is already playing games with the issue of the bodies. They claim to have found only 4 of the 28. No one believes that. It's reasonable they might have lost a few, but this looks like the first violation. But the bigger issue is this. Israel agreed to a 20-point plan that includes Hamas disarming and leaving the Gaza Strip and not even staying behind as a sort of Hezbollah-like militia controlling things from the shadows, as is the case or has been the case in Lebanon. Hamas never agreed to this. The President Trump's genius was in pretending they had, I suppose, and bringing about the hostage release. But now we're confronted with the issue that Hamas never did formally agree to any of the other points, and in particular to this one thing that will soon emerge as the major sticking point. And if they don't, and the signs are bad because they are already appointing governors and executing, accused traitors and collaborators. If they don't, then Israel is going to want to resume the war. And I don't think that Trump, given the spectacle and the festival of recent days, can really let them. But neither really, I think, can he afford to walk away from the key part of his own plan. So the only thing that makes sense at this point is to focus on Qatar and Egypt and Turkey and to make sure that they bring Hamas to heel, to actually implement what they haven't yet really agreed to, despite the pretense otherwise.
Pressure on these other Arab nations that are geographically even closer to the region than the United States, as we continue to point out. And Dan, your point is well taken, right? The promise to return the bodies, maybe only 4 will return. You know, you do wonder if post-autopsies could be conducted on those passed over, and maybe that's why there would be some hesitation to actually send those back, or of course they don't know the exact whereabouts. But Ken, maybe you wanted to comment not only on that, the turning over the deceased hostages, but also who's leading Gaza next. There are many, many questions as to which political faction or gang could emerge as the new leaders.
Yeah. First, Dan is right. Trump's genius as a negotiator. He heard the yes, and he seized on the yes, and he just said, well, look, the but, we'll deal with the but later. And that was Hamas's response to the 20-point plan. I have said that this 20-point plan is a little bit like the United States Constitution. It's a series of principles. The very first, by the way, is de-radicalization of the Gaza Strip. And that means the end of pay to slay. It means the end of these school books that teach anti-Semitism to very young children. But with the U.S. Constitution, there came 250 years of negotiation and of litigation in particular. Litigation might sound bad, but it's a lot better than fighting. So I think that's where we're headed. There's going to be a lot of litigation in the months to come and the years to come. The Egyptians have already appointed a 14-man board to govern Gaza. These are technocrats. Hamas, in theory, has agreed to this. Look, we'll see. This is a question of don't trust, but verify.
Dan, I see you wanted to weigh in. We're running up against a break. Be real quick, 20 seconds if you want to respond as well.
The statement signed in Egypt yesterday was good. It does suggest that Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey are prepared to help implement the 20 points. But this must happen not in weeks and months and days, but quickly, because Netanyahu faces an election. And if Hamas stays in Gaza, he'll be accused of having prolonged the war for no deal that he didn't have already on the table 1 and 2 years ago. So this is critical for Israel from every perspective.
At the very least, those hostage families can breathe a sigh of relief, right? The return of their loved ones. Ken Timmerman, Dan Perry, thank you very much for joining us. Great conversation today.